Welcome back, once again adventurers, to Let's Play Biohazard 3 Real Survival. In the last episode, Jill and I made it to Annandale Street, upon which stands the bastion of justice, that is the Raccoon Police Department's Precinct. Formerly an old museum turned into a police station. Shortly after she arrived, Jill Valentine was surprised to see Brad Vickers following suit. But unfortunately, their reunion was short-lived by the sudden revealing of a very terrifying threat. The creature known to one and all as Nemesis, who proceeded to finish what he started. They'd been hunting down Brad all this time, and finally Nemesis was able to claim his first STARS victim. And thus, Brad Vickers has joined the ranks of Kenneth Sullivan, Forrest Spire, Richard Eichen, Enrico Marini, Edward Dewey, Kevin Dooley, and Joseph Frost. In death. Sorry about that, had to suppress a cough there. But getting back to our present situation. Brad Vickers is now dead, and Jill Valentine is next on Nemesis's hit list, being the only living STARS member within Raccoon City. Unfortunately, Jill has managed to barricade herself in the R.P.D, but yeah, much like the mansion in the city, the police station, as it will be on the 29th, is not a safe haven in the slightest. Because as time has gone on, even the police station has been overrun by the hordes of T-virus infected zombies. And again, apologies for the fact that my voice sounds so incredibly strained, which is fitting of where we find ourselves. Brad is dead and Jill is on the run. That's basically sums everything up. So now we pretty much have a new threat to contend with. Zombies, possible mutants that we may or may not encounter throughout our sojourn through the city, and Nemesis, the Tyrant class bioorganic weapon courtesy of Umbrella. In fact, it's probably accurate to say that Nemesis is Umbrella's agent of vengeance against the STARS themselves, who are all too aware of Umbrella's atrocities and their conspiracies with the Arklay Mansion. Now, on a bit of a humorous note, 20 years ago my cousins had a pet name for Nemesis, and I'm going to tell you what that name is. For some reason they decided to give him the appellation of Octomonkey. Now, you may find this moniker amusing at first, but given what we witnessed with Brad's demise, I can assure you that it is very well given in this instance. Now Nemesis is continuing to rage against the door. But we're safe for the moment. and Nemesis has stopped trying to get in. But of course, if zombies as well as Mr. X could break into the police station, then so can he. Now we have a trio of green herbs conveniently placed here. We're not going to take those for the moment. We may do at soon afterwards, but not right now. Of course, this door is completely barricaded. We can't enter it. And probably for good reason. We have no need to actually explore the police station in its entirety, I think. Doing so would probably be a bad thing. And there is the enlarged iconography of the Raccoon Police Department on the floor here. As well as the statue in the main hall. Statue of the Flying Goddess. That's all that Jill has to say on that. We have no need to interact with the statue, and doing so will actually cause a time paradox of sorts, and we don't want to be doing a time paradox, especially in a situation like this. I'm probably being slightly hypocritical here, but oh well. And then again, I'm probably being incredibly hypocritical by taking these handgun bullets. I'm taking them. And behold, time paradox. Possibly. Who knows? Of course, this being the main hall, there is a typewriter. Of course there is. Let's check the desk over here for anything useful. Ah, there's a map of the police station right here in the lobby. It looks like, yeah, the east side is completely barricaded off, and parts of the west area as well. And there is the upstairs as well, which looks like we'll only be able to access one part of the corridor. But anyway, the police station map is ours for now. And wondering if there is a type. Well, there doesn't appear to be a ink ribbon here. So oh well. Even if there was one, we'd probably just leave it. Now, we want to check this monitor over here. This terminal controls the security system. I could operate it if I had a STARS card. Yeah, the STARS card, much like the one possibly carried by Brad Vickers, which is now lying with his corpse outside with Nemesis. But I don't regret the two of us running in here. I would rather retreat and actually have more ammo for dealing with the precinct than fighting him outside. Because, yeah, despite the fact that we pretty much had 14 shotgun shells and at least 60 bullets before I picked up the 30 that were on the counter there. 14 shotgun shells and 60 bullets, or 50 bullets, sorry, would not be enough against a monstrosity like Octomonkey. And yes, I'm going to be using his name interchangeably throughout this Let's Play adventure. We can't access the security terminal, and yeah. And using the blue security card system the security card would actually be pointless because it doesn't have what Jill needs. And like the other door, this one too is completely barricaded. No going into this part of the police station, and with the ladder still currently up at the moment, we can't get to the second floor from here. So the only way through is, of course, in this direction, this blood-stained door, the only door in which we can enter. Of course, with the police station being completely overrun, there are zombies. Fire. Colleagues of Jill, you may have been oh, you're coming down from that side, you goits. Oh my word. Line up the shots there, Jill. Listening for more zombies. There's probably one more lurking around. Ah, the West office. Thought for a second that Nemesis had broken through somewhere. Of course, as we enter this part of the office, we walk into the sanctum of a very familiar R.P.D. lieutenant. One who Jill Valentine knows all too well. It's R.P.D. officer Marvin Branagh. He's been fatally wounded by zombies. He appears to be holding something in his hand. And he appears to have handwritten a personal report, or maybe an investigation report. Either way, let's read it and see what he had to say. Report, September 24th. There are reports of a theft in the municipal building before dawn. A jewel-decorated clock at the main gate was damaged. 2 of the 12 gems that are installed on the face of the clock are missing. Due to the lack of available officers at this time, I have no choice but to suspend the research of this case. Signed, Marvin Branagh. Report, September 26th. Based on the autopsy report of a 42-year-old restaurant owner, I've discovered that he has one of the missing gems. He apparently took shelter in the police department about 10 a.m., where he was shot to death within 10 minutes of having developed the symptoms. Since the city is currently under martial law, we are forced to suspend this case. At this time, we'll keep the gem as evidence. Signed, Marvin Branagh. The final police report ever written and published. by Marvin Branagh. But of course, contrary to appearances, Marvin is not currently dead right about now. However, his wounds are fatal. And even if they weren't, there is the unfortunate reality that even if he didn't succumb to his wounds, he would succumb to the T-virus that is currently circulating through his bloodstream. And of course, on the 29th of September, his fate is effectively sealed, foreshadowing in the future. Not that Jill would be aware of this fact, although she understands the reality of Marvin's situation just as much as I do and can pretty much figure it out for herself, knowing what she does about the T-virus. Let's check the other desks, and they were preparing Leon's inauguration party. Not that Jill Valentine will know who Leon is. And was there anything in the JoJo locker? No, but apparently someone has made quite a mess in here, which is, I think there is a mess everywhere on the R.P.D. right about now. There's a waiting room by the reception desk. Unfortunately, we're not going to be reaching that waiting room anytime soon. This is definitely going to be taking its toll on Jill. Her former home operation, or her former headquarters for the Raccoon City Stars. September 29th, Michael Festival. Of course, referring to Michael Warren, the mayor of Raccoon City, up until the time of its demise, and being one of the few civilian survivors to actually make it out alive. And of course, the 29th, once again, for biohazard connoisseurs, is the night that Leon and Claire will arrive at this very location. Now into the evidence room. And what a surprise, it's not overrun by zombies either. Not yet, at least. And there is the aforementioned blue gem that Marvin wrote about in his report, the one that was confiscated. I'm surprised that that wasn't locked, which is a good thing for us. A sapphire shining in blue. But there we go. Of course, we'll need its counterparts, and guessing we'll need to find the municipal building as well. I don't think it's in the uptown area, which means we have a long way to go. And this appears to be locked with a simple lock, which means that we're going to have to find a lockpick somewhere along the line. And no zombies. Marvelous. That sound. Just keep expecting something to happen. And this evidence locker is locked with a number-based lock, which we don't have. Unfortunate. Is there anything in here? No, there is not. Is there anything useful on these shelves? No, there is not. Oh well. Never mind. Now, hopefully we don't have to deal with any lickers crawling around the police station. That would be a terrible thing. As if Octomonkey wasn't anywhere near enough of a threat to deal with. We're going into the adjacent hallway. Deal with the zombies as quickly as possible. And I wasted a bullet there. Oh. Probably could have taken them out with a shotgun blast, but never mind. I am definitely panicking at this point. And there is a zombie back there. Yes, there is. Well, we're dead enough. And actually, have a look here. Second floor, Chief's office, Star's office, library. We have no reason to go into Brian Iron's office, and we have no reason to go there even if we did have a reason. And there is no way I'm going back into the library of the R.P.D. I always found that place terrifying, to be honest. I like libraries and I like reading books, but the library in the R.P.D. precinct does not bode well for me. And it seems that Jill can't see anything outside of this window, which is never a good sign, especially with hordes of zombies everywhere. Left rear dark room, which is very good for us. Right here, but actually before we go in, I'm actually going to see what's written on this board here. Please do not leave the darkroom door open. It's a good idea, otherwise you will ruin the chance to actually develop film negatives. That would be a bad thing, especially for a R.P.D. precinct. And lo and behold, we are here in the dark room. Yet again, a safe haven in the R.P.D. My goodness. Now, hopefully there's an ink ribbon with this typewriter. And there is, fantastic. Which we shall take. And you know what, adventurers? I'm going to save. I am definitely going to save. Because we need to at this point. Because otherwise, all the efforts that we've gone through will be for nothing. Very well. We shall make this our first save. I could have chosen to save at the warehouse or the storage room, but I chose not to. Instead, this will be the very first save of the Biohazard 3 Real Survival Let's Play. And with that save, I believe I'm going to call it an episode. So when we return, adventurers, we shall explore what is here in the dark room, and hopefully the rest of the accessible areas down here on the first floor, before making our way back up to the second floor, where the Star's office is located. As always, adventurers, until next we meet.